let's say 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay. So, 2 minutes now. 155. 150. 145. 140. Oh, look, Liam, there's another plane. 135. 130. 125. 120. 115. 110. 105. 100. 1 minute, excuse me. 55 seconds. 50 seconds. 45 seconds. 40 seconds. 35 seconds. 30 seconds. 25 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off. Hello and welcome to Red Pride Stadium on the campus of Plainfield High School. My name is Lex Zorn and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Whiteland Warriors in Week 8 of the Indiana high school football season. Well, coming off their first loss of the season, your Quakers got back on track last week with a 34-13 win over the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. The 21-point margin was identical to their margin of defeat last year in the game with Franklin. Excuse me. The 21-point margin of win was identical to the margin of defeat in their previous game, 42-21 to Decatur Central. Franklin got the ball first and moved the ball to the Plainfield 27, but turned the ball over on downs. Then on Plainfield's first possession, Luke Starnes scored on a 69-yard touchdown rush with 7:48 to go in the first quarter. Franklin punted on their next two possessions, and the Quakers quickly scored both times. First on a 77-yard rush by wide receiver Ethan Ellis on a double handoff with 4:55 remaining in the quarter. And ironically, Ellis's only previous touchdown of the season also came on a double handoff. That was Plainfield's first touchdown of the season back in the Terre Haute South game in Week 1. Then on Plainfield's next possession, they scored on a 6-yard rush by Weston Wayrich with 2:17 remaining in the quarter. 2 of the 3 extra point attempts were good, and the Quakers led 20-0. After a third consecutive punt by Franklin, the Quakers had a chance to take a 4-touchdown lead, but then the Grizzly Cubs started to establish momentum. Plainfield punted for the first time in the game, and on the Grizzly Cubs' ensuing possession, quarterback Grayson Betts rushed 15 yards for a touchdown with 7:23 remaining in the second quarter. The extra point attempt was blocked, making the score 20-6. Plainfield punted again on his next possession, and Franklin got the ball with a chance to cut the lead to one possession before halftime. They drove into Quakers territory, but before Betts was intercepted on a tip. The Quakers got the ball to start off the second half and consumed nearly half of the third quarter. Sabonk rushed 15 yards to the Franklin 1, and then Starnes rushed it in for a touchdown on the next play with 6:14 remaining in the quarter. Franklin had one more great moment when senior star running back Alex Lugers, who had been relatively contained up to that point, rushed to 95 yards for a touchdown with 7:20 remaining in the fourth quarter, giving the Grizzly Cubs a slight chance to come back. But on Plainfield's ensuing possession, they ran out most of the clock and scored once more. Wayrich, who had been largely contained up to that point, rushed 37 yards to the Franklin 3-yard line, and 3 plays later, Sabonk scored his first career rushing touchdown on a 1-yard quarterback sneak with 2:34 remaining. Now 6-1 overall, Plainfield has 3 consecutive 6-win seasons for the first time since 6 in a row from 2005 to 2010. The Quakers finished with a winning record in each of those seasons and now are assured of consecutive winning seasons for the first time since then. Tonight, they try for their first 7-win season in 14 years as they play the Whiteland Warriors, a team that's dominated Plainfield in recent years, but looks much more beatable this season. After winning 13 of their last 14 games against the Quakers, including the last 7, Whiteland enters this game only 3-3. After starting off the season with a 27-13 win over Jeffersonville, the Warriors' Week 2 game against Kokomo was canceled because of weather at halftime, with the score tied at 14. The next week, Whiteland lost to Decatur Central 42-29. That was followed by 2 consecutive wins, 27-14 over Franklin and 48-28 over Perry Meridian. But the last 2 weeks, the Warriors lost games that were decided in the final seconds. 2013 to Martinsville on a tackle 2 yards short of the end zone, and then 24-21 to Mooresville on a touchdown with 17 seconds remaining last week. Tonight, Plainfield will try to keep some momentum going and get the Whiteland monkey off their backs, while Whiteland will try to get back on track and get ready for the playoffs, which start in just 3 weeks. Now, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 286 times and passed 62 times, a ratio of 4.6 to 1. Sophomore quarterback Bryce Sabank has mostly been a very conservative and efficient game manager. He's completed 39 of 62 passes, 62.9%, for 353 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. And at that, we will pause for the national anthem. Well, thank you to the Plainfield Marching Quakers for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. And I will go ahead and start over the statistics on the season. Now, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 286 times and passed 62 times, a ratio of 4.6 to 1. Sophomore quarterback Bryce Sabank has mostly been a very conservative and efficient game manager. He's completed 39 of 62 passes, 62.9%, for 353 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. His leading receiver is sophomore Ethan Ellis with 16 receptions for 175 yards, followed by senior Weston Wayrich with 5 receptions for 60 yards, junior Ryan Garver with 5 for 47, and junior Luke Starnes with 7 for 46. The Quakers do most of their damage on the ground, and they do a lot of it, led by Luke Starnes, the aforementioned junior, with 139 rushes for 1,139 yards and 14 touchdowns, while senior Weston Wayrich has 104 rushes for 629 yards and 12 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Whiteland has rushed 308 times and passed 43 times, a ratio of 7.2 to 1. Senior quarterback Ollie Taylor has completed 25 of 43 passes, 58.1%, for 363 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. His leading receiver is junior Eli Taylor with 8 receptions for 110 yards, followed by junior Xander Height with 2 receptions for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. To about the same extent as Plainfield, Whiteland does most of its damage on the ground, led by senior Slate Valentine with 149 rushes for 890 yards and 5 touchdowns, followed by junior Jordan Palmer with 42 rushes for 312 yards and 1 touchdown, junior Tyree Nolan with 27 rushes for 204 yards and 3 touchdowns, and aforementioned quarterback Ollie Taylor with 27 rushes for 168 yards and 6 touchdowns. Head coach for Plainfield is Tyler Bless, who's 12-5 in his second season with the Quakers. Head coach for Whiteland is Darren Fisher, who's currently the dean of Mid-State Conference head coaches. He's 140-81 in his 20th season with the Warriors, and 201 and 153 in his 34th season overall. He previously served as head coach at Cascade here in Hendricks County and at Nevada and Des Moines East High Schools in Iowa. He's won 6 sectional championships here at Whiteland and took the Warriors to the Class 5A state championship game two years ago. He also led Cascade to their only sectional championship in program history back in 1992. He is a member of the Indiana Football Hall of Fame. Well, at this time, we'll take a short break for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening kickoff. Plainfield, Whiteland coming at you live under the Friday night lights. Next. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is made possible by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Gannell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, partners. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're just a few minutes away from kicking off game 8 out of 9 in the regular season. And for any game, especially week 8, we have a very beautiful evening. Right now, the temperature here in Plainfield is 72 degrees. The high today was actually all the way up at 81. 1 week from tonight for our regular season finale down at Martinsville. The high is supposed to be, believe it or not, 76, which I'm pretty sure is the, if that holds up, it'll be the warmest week 9 game I've ever commentated. So we're getting great luck with the temperature this season. Now we've obviously had bad luck with other aspects of the weather. We've had 2 games delayed until Saturday this year. One after a lot of our fans and I had already gotten there, that back up in Tippecanoe County in week 2 against Harrison. And then, of course, we had the hour and 16-minute lightning delay 3 weeks ago down at Greenwood. Certainly it's great to still be in short weather, this late in the season. And tonight, normally this would be our senior day. It has been in past years, but this year they actually had senior day unconventionally in week 1 because I believe, if I remember correctly, yes, that's right, because this year senior day, I'm sorry, the regular season home finale, which is this game, coincided with fall break, so they figured they'd get better attendance to have it in week 1. So anyway, nevertheless, this is the last regular season home game of this outstanding senior class that's experienced some of the greatest heights in program history. We hope we will have multiple home games here in the playoffs. It is possible that we will, but you're never guaranteed a home game. You could open on the road and lose that game. And in fact, actually this Sunday, we're going to find out where and against whom the Quakers are going to be opening the postseason 3 weeks from tonight. I'm going to be talking about that more later in the broadcast, most likely at halftime, and then with a reminder in the pregame show. Well, right now, with 3:03 to go on the pregame clock, 6:56 your time of day, let's take a look at what the other Hendricks County teams are up to tonight. Starting in Class 6A, Brownsburg holds on to the number 1 spot in the polls for the second consecutive season after a 66-28 win over Zionsville. Tonight, they host 2-5 Noblesville. Should be an easy win for the Bulldogs. Avon is now 1-6 after its 5th consecutive loss. They lost last week 45-13 to currently 3rd-ranked Westfield. Tonight, Avon tries to get some momentum going for the playoffs as they host 3-4 Zionsville. In Class 4A, Danville jumps into the rankings at number 11 after their 6th consecutive win. They beat the Frankfurt Hot Dogs 64-16. Tonight, they have a tough opponent, however. The number 4 ranked team in Class 2A, the 7-0 Western Boone Stars, who've won 3 state championships in the last 6 years. They won consecutive 2A championships in 2018 and 2019, followed by a Class 3A championship in 2020. In Class 3A, Cascade jumps into the rankings as well at number 9 after the Cadets are now 7-0 for the first time in school history after a 41-14 win over the previously undefeated Northview Knights. Tonight, Cascade plays at 2-5 Greencastle and then hosts 0-7 Owen Valley a week from tonight to close out the regular season. So Cascade apparently headed for the first undefeated regular season in program history after never previously starting better than 4-0. So great to see that program doing so well. Hopefully they'll cap it off with a good tournament run. And finally, rounding out the county, also in Class 3A, Tri-West ended a 3-game losing streak last week in a huge way with a 70-0 win over the North Montgomery Chargers. North Montgomery Chargers. Tri-West is now 3-4, and tonight should even the record at 500 as they play the usually bad 2-5 Crawfordsville Athenians. Well, last year, when Plainfield went down to Whiteland, the Quakers were 6-1. They won their first 5 games, then lost to Decatur Central, then beat Franklin, just exactly the way they've done it this year. And Whiteland, coming into that game, they were on a 6-game winning streak against us. And prior to our last win over them in 2017, they'd won their last 6 against us before that too. So it was the second time they had gone on a 6-game winning streak against us. And because Whiteland, after eliminating us from the playoffs in the regional round in 2022, went on to the state championship game where they lost to Valparaiso 35-31, and then lost a big chunk of that team to graduation or injuries. And they ended up entering that game against us last year at 3-4, and I thought that they were ripe to be beaten, but they opened the game with a surprise onside kick that they recovered. Then they pulled off another onside kick against us in the third quarter. So they took 2 possessions away from us and ended up running 28 more offensive plays than we did, 66-38. And like I said, they had 2 more possessions. They took away 2 possessions from us, and they beat us by 2 possessions. 22-8 was the final score. We also hurt ourselves, by the way, with a fumble at the Whiteland 1 when we were about to score and get back in the game. So we really, beat ourselves in that game. And Whiteland, to their credit, after that, they won their regular season finale as well, then went on to win their sectional. So, considering all the losses they had from that state runner-up team 2 years ago, they did a good job getting as far as they did last year and turning their season around. And it was against us that they got it turned around. So hopefully tonight we'll get that monkey off our backs. It's hard to believe at one time we led this series. Going into the 2011 season, Cascade led the all-time series against Whiteland 30-4. Whiteland joined the Mid-State Conference back in 1968, and Plainfield thoroughly dominated the series, but then Whiteland won every year in the series from 2011 to 2016. Plainfield squeaked by with a 50-47 win in 2017, and then the Warriors have beaten us in the regular season every year since, and then in the playoffs in the regional 2 years ago. And this year we could meet Whiteland earlier in the playoffs because they're actually in our sectional, and I'm going to be speaking more about that a little bit later on in the broadcast. As I said, the selections will be announced on Sunday evening. It'll be on ihsaatv.org. Again, I'll be talking about this a little more at halftime. So now Plainfield setting up for the opening kickoff. Leo Hayob is our kicker. He's kicked off 38 times this year, gotten 22 touchbacks. He's also our punter, averaging 37.9 yards per punt. So 2 Whiteland players are back deep to receive now. Got a really big crowd here, so you can see a lot of Plainfield folk believe in this team, which is great to see. It's great to see the kids have this much support. And this time, the kick goes out of bounds, so Whiteland will get good starting field position. The Warriors are 7.2-1 rush pass team, which is typical for Darren Fisher. Darren Fisher, one of the living legends in Indiana high school football. He's already a Hall of Famer, only 57 years old. And we have a Hall of Famer on staff as well. Mark Bless, our assistant coach and head coach, Tyler's dad. And hopefully Tyler will someday make the family a 3-generation Hall of Fame family, because Tyler's grandfather and Mark's father, Bill Bless, also in the Hall of Fame. He served 3 years from 66 to 68 as head coach at Whiteland, went on to serve 22 years as the head coach at the University of Indianapolis from 72 to 93. So now starting off the game, there's a handoff, and he's up the middle. By the way, Whiteland started at the 35. So Slate Valentine, who will likely get the bulk of the carries tonight, gets 3 yards. We got to keep him under control. 11:38 to go in counting here in the first quarter. 7:03 your time of day. So the Warriors line up a wide receiver to each side. I formation. Now a couple of shifts there. And now a handoff again. He drags a couple of receivers with him, gets close to the first down. Valentine again. Valentine was already, they give him 6 on that one, bringing up a very big 3rd and 1. So Valentine gets it on the first 2 plays, 9 yards total, so bringing up 3rd and 1 at the Whiteland 44. Plainfield trying to break a 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. I formation with one receiver to the right. Now a handoff again, this time to Valentine. I think he just got it to maybe one more. So 3 plays from scrimmage for Whiteland. And they give him the 1 yard for the first down. So Valentine 3 for 10. Valentine 5'10", 165, a senior, should be playing college ball a year from now. 2 receivers to the left now, 2 running backs, and now we got a flag here. Hopefully against Whiteland, but we'll see. 10:19 to go, and the clock stops. False start against Whiteland. So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15. And, you got to take any break you can get. What I say about Darren Fisher teams, you got to beat them because they don't beat themselves. They're very fundamentally sound. There's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer, and he's still relatively young at 57. I'm 53, to put that in perspective. I like to think of myself as relatively young, too. So 2 receivers now to the right, I formation. And now handoff again. And this time he, I believe that was Valentine again. He gets, he gets about 4 yards, so almost what they lost on the penalty. So, boy, it would be great if we could hold him here. Because one thing you got to avoid is getting down, playing from behind against Whiteland. So they give him an even 5, so 2nd and 10 now. Valentine's carried on every play so far. And now, this time, a handoff, and that is to Tyree Nolan, and we got him for a gain of 2 or 3. He wears number 37. He's a junior, 5'6", 149. Bringing up 3rd and long, a very critical 3rd. They give him credit for 2. Boy, that'd be great if we could, we could get a punt on our first defensive formation, on our first defensive possession of the game. So now, and now we've got a flag before the snap. Okay, it's going to be offsides against Plainfield. That's bad. So basically, we gave them back the 5 yards that they gave us. So now 3rd and 8 becomes a much more manageable 3rd and 3. That moves the ball into Quaker territory at the 48, 8:39 to go here in the first quarter. Still no score. Whiteland's on the first possession of the game. The Warriors, a heavily rushing team as usual. They can milk big chunks of the clock, so we gotta counter that. So now, handoff again to Valentine. I think he's got the first. I think they're gonna give him forward progress out to the 45. Okay, that was Jordan Palmer with his first carry. So they stopped him short. So 4th and 1. I assume they will go for it now. 4th and 1, for 4th and inches. Ollie Taylor, the quarterback. He's a pretty good rusher in his own right. We could see a quarterback sneak from him. We do, and I think he's got it in about 3 or more. So let's see where they mark him. So already on this first possession, as they give Taylor 3 on that quarterback sneak, that does get the first down, moving it up to the Plainfield 42. Ollie Taylor is a senior, 6 feet, 164. Already 4.5 minutes gone on this opening possession of the game. And now a rush, and he takes it around the left side, but he doesn't get much there. That was Elliot Massengale with his first carry. So already 5 different Warriors have carried the ball in this game. They give him credit for just 1, bringing up 2nd and 9 at the 41. Darren Fisher, well known for his 5-prong rushing attacks. Very little passing. So now 1 receiver to each side. 2 running backs. Now handoff again. I believe that's Valentine, and he gets up for about, and he pushes his way forward. Wow, he gets about 4 or 5 yards after contact, and he's up very close to the first down. Valentine, a very, very tough kid. Already his 5th carry of this. They give him credit for 8, bringing up 3rd and 1. I have him 5 for 23 on the game now. .6:10 to go. So the Warriors on this opening possession of the game have already used nearly 1/8 of the game. So now handoff again to Valentine, and he gets the first down, and it gets 3 or 4 more. Valentine showing a lot of toughness, getting quite a few yards out of after contact in this game. Now you got 6 on that one. So 6 for 29, just under 5 a carry on the game. Under 6 minutes to go. And this is, if you're Plainfield, obviously, if you're Whiteland, obviously you want to keep Plainfield's offense off the field as much as you can. So now 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs. Taylor under center, takes snap. Now a handoff there. And we got it for a loss. All right, we were right. Good double coverage there on Nolan there. So that's Nolan's first was 1 for 2. They got him for a 1 or 2 yard loss there. They said it was a 1 yard loss. So 2nd and 11 now. Boy, if we get out of this drive, and as this drive nearly 7 minutes old now, if we get out of this drive without giving up any points, that'll be awesome. So 2nd and 11 now, 1 receiver to the right, 2 running backs. Taylor takes snap, hands off to, I believe that was Valentine again, gets up for about 5. Give him credit for 4 on that one. Third and 7 now. Whiteland at the Plainfield 24. They've used over 7.5 minutes on the opening drive of the game. Still no score. 7:12 your time of day. So 2 receivers to the left now. 1 running back, I believe it's Valentine. Now 1 man in motion. Handoff there to Valentine. Now he's tripped up. He only gets a couple, so it's going to bring up 4th down. Already, by my count, 8 yards by Valentine. Give him 3 on that one, so it'll bring up 4th and 4. Valentine, 8 for 36. Looks like they're going to go for it. This would be a 39-yard field goal. Over 8 minutes consumed on this opening drive here. One receiver to each side, two running backs. And now we've got a flag here. Offsides, Plainfield, automatic first down. So that'll move it into the red zone up to the 17. Well, Whiteland won their game last year against us. I could give some specifics, but in a nutshell, they won it because they were successful in playing the game that we wanted to play. They were successful in playing the game they wanted to play rather than the game we wanted to play. We can't let them do that again tonight. So first and at the 17, now nearly 9 minutes into the opening drive of the game. And now handoff there. And he's breaks through. He's hit her on line of scrimmage. Gets up. He might. So now in 9 minutes, now we've got the clock stopped. Yeah, they say he got the 10. So third and first and goal at the 7 now. I formation, one receiver to the left. Valentine gets it, and he drives his way, and I think he's got the touchdown. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So nine rushes for 43 yards and a touchdown by Slate Valentine on that first possession that consumes 9 minutes and 4 seconds. I mean, they consume nearly Whiteland consumed nearly a fifth of the game on that opening possession. We've got to be able to counter that. Extra point is up, and it is good. So 2:56 to go, and 2:56 to go in the first quarter, and a very concerning sight. Granted, we haven't seen Plainfield's offense yet, but the rushing, we might have stopped them if not for those 2 5-yard penalties. It was 4th and 5. They were going for it, and we jumped off sides and gave them the free first down. They went on to get the touchdown. Like I said, you got to beat Darren Fisher teams because they don't beat themselves. And we got to make sure we don't beat ourselves like we did last year in this game. So come on, boys. Let's get those points back. So now Plainfield about to get the ball for the first time today. We better not let them get any onside kicks against us tonight. They recovered 2 against us last year, one to start the game, one in the third quarter. Like I said, that took 2 possessions away from us. They ran 28 more plays than we did. They took away 2 possessions from us, won by 2 possessions. So now the kickoff only to about the 16. Now he's got some room up to 30, 35, 40. All right, so got a good starting field position for the Quakers. All right, that was to Sean Callahan there. He is a junior, 5'7", 140. They're going to mark him at the 39. So very quiet, not quite silent, but quiet crowd for the Quakers tonight. So now starting off with 1 receiver to the right, 3 to the left, empty backfield. Bryce Sabank, the quarterback in shotgun. He's shown that he can rush it well. And now Starnes Starnes shifting into the backfield. Starnes takes it. He's got past the 50, and he's got a first down to start off our first drive, about 14 yards there. So good start to the game, showing that we're ready to, match Whiteland in this game. So 14 yards there to start off the game by Starnes. That's a good sign. So now we've got Garver to the left, Ellison, one of the receiver to the right, Starnes in the backfield, Sabank in shotgun. Takes snap, gives it to Starnes again. He looks for some room. He gets some room around the right side past the 45, and he's brought down around the 42. So it's a gain of about 5 for Starnes. He got 14 on the first one, about 5 on the second one. So give him credit for 6. All right. So 2 for 20 for Starnes. He's showing he can run against these guys. He's just got to keep it up. So Garver and Ellis now out to the left. Starnes, the running back. Sabank in shotgun. 1:46 to go and counting in the first quarter. Whiteland 7, Plainfield 0. Now another handoff by Starnes. He's got the first down and he starts to trip up, and then he pushes his way up for about 3 or 4 more yards. So that's first down for the Quakers. So 3 plays on offense for Plainfield in this game, all rushes. They give him credit for 9 on that one. So Starnes 3 for 29 to start off. Now he can't make any mistakes. You got to get those points back, because we cannot afford to fall 2 possessions down against this team like we did last year. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, empty backfield now. Sabank. And now Starnes moving into the backfield again. Fakes the handoff, and Sabank takes it himself, and he's got some room on the left side, and he stays on his feet, gets maybe a couple. I think he's going to get forward progress out to about the 30. He's rushed for as long as 44 yards this year. Got it. Yeah, well, they'll shoot. They only gave him 1. Nevertheless, Plainfield still off to a good start on this drive. 2nd and 9 now at the Whiteland 31. 43 seconds to go, and counting here in the quarter. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Weston Wayrich now in at running back for the Quakers. He has 12 touchdowns on the season to Starnes 14. And now screen pass. It is complete to Ellis. He breaks tackle and gets inside the 20. So that'll be a gain of about 12 yards on the first passing play of the game. The clock stops to move the chains with 21.4 seconds to go. Ellis, a 77-yard rushing touchdown last week. The second rushing touchdown of his career, and 7 seconds to go, and that will be it. So after 1 quarter of play here at Red Pride Stadium, your Plainfield Quakers trailed the Whiteland Warriors 7-0. However, the Quakers, now on their first possession, are knocking on the door of tying it. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is made possible by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Groups, and Ellis and Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, your Plainfield Quakers are trailing the Whiteland Warriors 7-0. It should be noted that Plainfield has the ball now for the first time all game. Whiteland got the opening kickoff, consumed a Whiteland got the opening kickoff, consumed a whopping 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Finally scored on a 7-yard touchdown rush by Slate Valentine. The extra point brought us to a current score of 7-0. Now Plainfield on its first possession has it 1st and 10 at the 19. So 2 receivers to the left. And now Sabank looks to pass. Then he starts to run with it, but he's brought down for a loss of maybe 2 or 3. So loss of 3 now. So bringing up 2nd and 13 for the Quakers at the 22. Come on, boys, let's get those yards back and more. So now Garver to the left, Ellis to the right. Now we got both Wayrich and Starnes into the game at running back. Bryce Sabonk in shotgun, 11:26 to go and counting in the second quarter. Whiteland 7, Plainfield 0. And we got some movement on the line and a flag. Hopefully that's against Whiteland, but let's see. Okay, offsides on Whiteland. So second and 11 becomes a much better 2nd and 6. All right. So 2 penalties on each team now. All for all the penalties were 5-yarders. So now Garver to the left, Ellis to the right. Once again, Starnes and Wayrich in the backfield. Sabonk in shotgun takes it, hands off to Starnes. He gets up the middle, and he's got the first down and more. Pick up about 8 or so inside the 10. Okay, they're marking him, it looks like at the 8. So Starnes, I have 4 for 37. A very good start to this game here in the first minute of the second quarter. Plainfield trying to tie it. Okay, check out. They moved him up. They give him credit for 7 yards up to the 9. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left now. And now fakes the handoff, and Sabonk takes it up himself. And I think he broke the plane. The ball popped out, but he broke the plane first. So Sabonk gets his second rushing touchdown in as many weeks. He got his first last week to seal off our game down at Franklin. Now he gets a 9-yarder there. All right, so Plainfield strikes back hard, consuming 4 minutes on their first drive of the game. They're an extra point now away from tying it. Hey, up 26 of 28. Now they go for the 2-point conversion, and they got it. So we got the lead. That's huge. All right. Plainfield attempting a 2-point conversion for only the second time this season. Last year we attempted 20 out of 30 touchdowns, made 13 of them. This year it's been a much different story. In fact, that was actually our 30th touchdown of the season. This is only our second 2-point conversion attempt of the season. But I like the call there, the bold call by Coach Bless. We got the lead over Whiteland now. That's always a huge thing. So anyway, 10:56 to go. 10:56 to go in the second quarter. Plainfield 8, Whiteland 7. Let's keep the lead, boys. And I'll tell you, if Whiteland doesn't score, if we get the next score, and if the next score of the game is a Plainfield touchdown, I say go for the 2, because that would, if we get another 2-point conversion, we got a 2-possession lead, and that's a huge deal against anybody, but especially a rushing dominated team as Whiteland is. So Hayob, his first kick went out of bounds, but let's see if he gets this one in the end zone tonight. It's a good kick. It's going to be close, but it's fielded at about the 1. And he bobbles it in. Yes. He mishandled it. It goes out of bounds. So Whiteland will be taking over the 3 or 4. All right, that's good, because even a great rushing team as Whiteland is, they start a drive from there. There's an excellent chance that at some point they're not going to finish the drive. All right. It's a rare fundamental mistake from a Darren Fisher coach team. He arrived at Whiteland in 2005, a year before Mike Campbell took over at Greenwood, a year before Mike Campbell took over at Greenwood and Brian Witter took over here at Plainfield. They both stayed at their jobs 17 years. Now Fisher's still there. So now for Whiteland, 1 receiver to the left, and now a handoff there. I think they're going to start off trying to be very conservative there, just to get out of the danger zone. Slate Valentine gets for about 5 or 6 there. Gave him a little bit better spot than I thought. So second and 3 now at the 10. 10:28 to go and counting here in the quarter. Just got to hold on to that lead here. So 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Handoff there. And he's Valentine again. I think he's got the first. If he's not, it's super close. Yeah, okay. So he does get the 3 that he needs. 11 for 53 by my count for Valentine, including a touchdown. $10 to go now and counting here in the second quarter. Plainfield 8, Whiteland 7. The Quakers on a 7-game losing streak to Whiteland. Also lost 13 of their last 14 to the Warriors. And now pitch back there. And we got a flag here. He's brought down for a gain of about 6 or 7. That was Valentine again, but let's see what the flag is. So let's see. Still waiting for the signal. Holding against Whiteland. So that'll be half the distance to the goal. So that'll move it back around the 6 or 7. 9:40 to go. So that's a big break for the Quakers. 9:40 to go now in the second quarter. Plainfield 8, Whiteland 7. First and 17 now at the 6. Come on, no excuses for not getting him off the field here, boys. So and now they're doing a shift here. 20 to go on the play clock. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Now a handoff. Up about 5 or 6. Okay, that was Valentine again. Gets to give him credit for 21 there. So I have him 12 for 74 already. First and 10 for the Warriors at their own 31. Still 69 yards from the end zone. We got to make sure they don't get anywhere close there. Valentine again. 13 carries already in the first third of this game for Slate Valentine. Give him credit for 5 on that one. I have him 13 for 79 and a touchdown, which came from 7 yards. So 2nd and 5 for the Warriors at their own 36. Plainfield leading 8-7. 2 receivers to the left now, I formation. And now handoff there, and he's brought down for a short gain. That was trying to read the print on the rosters is very small here. Carnell Baker, give him credit for 2. His first carry of the game. So it's 3rd and 3. Very big play for the Quakers defense here. And now he's got the first down though. I believe that was Valentine again. Yeah, Valentine gets up for about 6 or 7. So a gain of 6 there for Valentine. Already his 14th carry of the game by my count. I have him 14 for 85, 1st and 10. Whiteland at their own 44, nearly halfway through the second quarter here. And this time, and we got him. Yes, we got him down at the line of scrimmage. All right, that was Tyree Nolan. He tried to go as far left as he could, but he was stopped dead in his tracks. So 2nd and 9. Oh, they give him credit for 1. So 2nd and 9 at their own 44 for the Warriors, and even 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Now handoff there, and we stopped him for a short gain. That was Valentine again. So 2 there by Valentine. I have him 15 for 87. A very critical 3rd and 7 now for Whiteland. 5:34 to go here in the second quarter. Plainfield 8, Whiteland 7. Okay, now they're saying 3rd and 8. Ball at the 46. We got to get him off the field here. I would imagine Whiteland would probably go for it if it comes to 4th down. And now handoff there. And now he's screen pass, and he's got the first down. Oh, they on a fumble. Yes, he got it. We got it. We got it. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. So now Plainfield with the lead and the ball over Whiteland. Oh, my God. He had the first down, but the ball came out after a pickup of about 14 yards. Oh, my God. That was, I thought, we failed to get off the field, but we ended up getting off the field anyway. So now the Quakers have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 40, and even 5:08 to go in the quarter now. Hand off there to Wayrich, and he's got some room. He's got up about 8, bringing up 2nd and short. His first carry of the game coming more than a quarter and a half in. This is only Plainfield's 2nd possession. They scored a touchdown on their first. So two receivers to the right, one to the left. Wayrich, the running back. And now screen pass. Oh, and it's dropped. 3rd and 2. First, only 2nd pass of the game by Sabank. Now we got to get this first down here. This is, too big an opportunity not to take advantage of. And remember, we get the ball first to start the second half, so we can get a touchdown late in the half. Too late for Whiteland to do anything about it, and then we get the ball first to start the second half. We can take a 2-touchdown lead, maybe even a 3-possession lead, depending on the conversions. But we'll talk about that a little later. So now, handoff there to Wayrich. He's got the first down and several more, and we got a late flag. I think it's going to be personal foul. So as it was, they're going to mark Wayrich for a 6-yard gain, but let's see. Personal foul on Whiteland, so 15 free yards. All right. Well, Whiteland started off 3-4 last year. Then starting with the game against us, the 22-8 win, they got their season on track, won their sectional, which was a good follow-up to losing the state championship game the year before. Considering the heavy losses they had from that team. This year, they're 3-3, having lost their last 2 games in the final seconds. Now Plainfield 1st and 10 at the Whiteland 31, with 4:15 to go in the second quarter, leading by 1. Fakes the handoff now. Sabank looks deep. He's got a man open. Oh, just threw. He had both hands on it. He just didn't get the grip. That would have been Sabank's first touchdown pass of the season. Ethan Ellis was the intended receiver. He does have 2 rushing touchdowns on the season, including a 77-yarder last week on a double handoff. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, empty backfield for the Quakers. Remember, Sabank is a capable rusher, 2 rushing touchdowns on the season now, 1 each of the last 2 games. And now handoff there to Wayrich. He's got up the middle. He's got about 5 or 6. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Give him credit for 5. .343 to go now. Got to at least move the chains here. 3:31 to go and counting. The 2 receivers to the right. I believe Wayrich is still in there at running back. Sabank in shotgun. Now, Starnes gets it, and he's got 2 or 3, but it's got to be short of the first down. .310 to go. 2-yard gain by Starnes, bringing up 4th and 3. Quakers are going for it. This will be a 41-yard field goal. So now they got Garver and Ellis. And then 1 receiver to the left. Starnes in there at running back. Sabank in shotgun. Looks to the sideline. And now direct snap to Starnes. And he's, I think he's going to be a yard or so short. It was a direct snap to Starnes. Well, the consolation is 2:41 to go. There's a good chance at least that, and I give the Whiteland defense, credit for coming through with the big stop there. So Starnes stopped a yard short. I have him 6 for 40 on the game. Wayrich 3 for 19. But the thing is, if we with 2:41 to go in the second quarter, both teams with 3 timeouts left. But if we can just stop Whiteland from getting a score, we will take the lead into halftime and have a chance to start building on it because we get the ball first to start the second half. So now they're looking to pass. They throw, and it's overthrown. Xander Height was the intended receiver. That his last name is spelled Hite, like kite, except with an H. And I've only known one person other than Xander by the name. I've only known of one person other than Xander by the name of Height. It was a childhood neighbor of mine named Charlie Height from my hometown of Madison, Indiana. I have no idea what happened to him. I'll have to look him up on social media after this game, see if this is his son. So anyway, Valentine now on 2nd and 10 gets about 5 or 6. Valentine, unquestionably the MVP of this game so far. Give him 7, so I have 16 for 93. He had nearly 900 yards coming into this game tonight. So 3rd and 3 now for the Warriors at their own 29, 2:08 to go. They still have all 3 timeouts. So now we just got to take away the big play, and we should be fine. We should go into the halftime no worse than an 8-7 lead. So now we tripped up. We stopped him, so we'll bring up 4th down. All right. I didn't see who got the hand on his leg to trip him up, but yeah, that was Valentine. And I believe Plainfield. Okay, Plainfield's just taken their first time out to preserve the clock. Good move there. So here's the status with 1:45 to go here in the second quarter at Plainfield. Your Quakers lead the Whiteland Warriors 8-7, trying to snap a 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. Right now, Whiteland has the ball. 4th and 3 at their own 29. Presumably they will punt here. Plainfield just used their first time out. Whiteland still all 3 of theirs. This was game 8 of 9 in the regular season. The Quakers entering the game with a record of 6-1. They won their first 5, then lost 2 weeks ago to Decatur Central. Last week got back on track against Franklin. And now trying to not only end that 7-game losing streak to Whiteland, but also trying to get a psychological edge over one of their sectional rivals. Whiteland and Plainfield, I believe for the first time, at least since Plainfield has been in 5A, are in the same sectional this year. 2 years ago, they played in the regional. Whiteland winning 49-14 in Coach Brian Woodard's last game with the Quakers. Well, Whiteland showing a lot of bravery. They are going for it here. Or at least they're threatening to. Maybe they're trying to draw Plainfield off sides. If that's the case, we better not fall for it. Oh, and what a Whiteland now, okay, there's a penalty. One of Whiteland's guys, 35, Braden Yates, he actually slipped and fell. So false start against. All right. So now 4th and 8. I don't think Whiteland was going to go for it. I mean, Darren Fisher is an unconventional coach. He's a brave coach. I mean, heck, he opened the game against us last year with an onside kick that worked, and then pulled off another one in the third quarter. Yeah, I don't think he'd go for it on 4th and 8 in this situation. I don't think he was going to go for it on 4th and 3. I think he was trying to draw us off sides, and fortunately for us, it had the opposite effect. So now the kick is up, and it goes out of bounds right around the 50. All right, so Plainfield still with two timeouts left and 138 and a 1-point lead. Now, best case scenario, we get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion here to make it 16-7. Then get the ball first to start the second half. Get a touchdown and another 2-point conversion. It's 24-7. We got a 3-possession lead, and it's all but over. That's the best case scenario. I mean, there's a big chance it won't work out that way, but we got to give it our best shot. So 2 receivers now to the right, 1 to the left. I believe Luke Starnes is in there at running back now. Bryce Sabank in shotgun. No, it's Wayrich. Gives it to Wayrich. He runs down the right side, but he's tripped up. I think they got him for a short loss. So I give Whiteland credit. I mean, they're not rolling over. I mean, they're going to fight like a Darren Fisher team would be expected to fight. So a 1-yard rush by Wayrich. 4 of 18 now for the senior, playing in his final regular season home game. Hopefully not his final home game overall. We will see. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1:08 to go. Plainfield 2nd and 11 at their own 48. Now handoff there, and he breaks a tackle. That's Starnes this time. He gets about 4 or 5 under a minute to go. Might want to use Plainfield uses his second timeout here. So Luke Starnes gets the ball gets up to the 43. That's a gain of 5 there. I have him 7 for 45 in this game. So when we resume play here, it will be Plainfield 3rd and 11 at the Whiteland 43. Plainfield 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6 at the Whiteland 43. 54.7 seconds to go in the first half. Plainfield 8, Whiteland 7. The Quakers have the ball. The Quakers have 1 timeout left. Whiteland still all 3 timeouts left, but that is not likely to be a factor at this point. So now the Quakers 3rd and 6, and now hand off there, and he's got some room. Starnes got the first down, more past the 35, past the 30, and he's the clock will stop, and now we got a late hit. I think it's going to be a personal foul against Whiteland. About the gain after a gain of about 14 by Starnes. So now, at the very least, Plainfield will be able to run out the rest of the clock if they choose, but hopefully they will get a score. Even a field goal would make it 11-7. Still waiting on we got officials deliberating now on the flag. Personal foul against Whiteland. All right. So that's 2 personal fouls. Surprised, to see that 2 personal fouls in 1 half against a Darren Fisher coach team. So add 14. So 14 on the rush from Starnes on 4th and 6, followed by 15 free yards. So a 29-yard gain by the Quakers. They now have it 1st and 10 at the 14, 45.2 seconds to go, and a 1-point lead, 1 timeout. And now Sabank takes it. He runs on the right side, and he gets up to about the 10. No, that was Gavin Likens. Okay, Gavin Likens into the game at quarterback for that play. With his first rush of the game, Likens has been a spot player this year. He and Sabank competed for the starting quarterback job before the season started. Now let's see where. Okay, there's a penalty I missed against the Quakers. So 10-yarder. I did not see. Holding on Plainfield. Okay. So now 40.9 seconds to go. 1st and 20 for the Quakers at the 24. Much more likely we're going to see a pass here, but we'll see. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Wayrich, the running back. Sabank drops back. Throws. Now he rushes. He's got some room wide open. Now he gets up, and now we're going to have to take the timeout here. I've got a feeling. He looked like he had some space on the left side, but, several Whiteland guys came over to cover it. So now the Plainfield is just taking its last timeout with 23.5 seconds to go. So interesting. It'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy they use here after that 3-yard pickup there by Sabank. 23.5 seconds to go. Plainfield now with no timeouts, with an 8-7 lead. It's not super urgent that they score, especially as they get the ball first to start the second half. But boy, it'd be nice to have a little extra padding here. Now Leo Hayob, our kicker, he's hit he's hit a field goal from as far as 31 yards. This would be a 38-yarder here. So, and by the way, Sabank did throw deep on what would have been a touchdown pass to Ellis, but Ellis just didn't get the grip on it. So Plainfield could throw into the end zone, or they could just go for, some yards, be real conservative, do some rushes to try to get, try to set up a field goal for Hayob. We'll see. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, empty backfield. Sabank, screen pass, and come on, get out of bounds, get out of bounds. He gets it to Garver, who does get out of bounds inside the 10. All right. Ryan Garver, a junior for the Quakers. So now the 12-yard pickup there. So 3rd and 5 now for the Quakers at the 9. And now they throw into the end zone. Touchdown, yes. All right. Ethan Ellis, his 3rd touchdown of the game, first receiving touchdown for Ellis, and first touchdown pass of the season for Bryce Sabank. So now the Quakers with a 14-7 lead, 18 seconds to go in the quarter. And Whiteland's taking a timeout. I think Whiteland wants to be ready because the way the Plainfield lines up for its conversions, you often can't tell if they're going to go for the 1 or the 2. And I think Whiteland wants to avoid going down by 2 possessions here. Wow, tense game here. But for the most part, I like what I'm seeing. Plainfield now 14-7 over Whiteland with the conversion pending. The Quakers extending their lead on their first passing touchdown of the season, a 9-yard pass from Bryce Sabank to Ethan Ellis. Sabank has completed 3 of 5 passes by my count for 33 yards on the touchdown. Great to see him finally get that monkey off his back here in game 8. So they're not going to, apparently Hayab's going to go for the extra point. I'd like to see him go for the 2 to take the, and now it is up, and it is, and I think, apparently the play was whistled dead. Ethan Ellis, a sensational athlete. Ball starting the Quakers, so that'll move it back 5 yards. So that'll basically, I'm just about assured that they won't go for the 2. But nevertheless, an extra point, and Starnes is 26 of 20. I'm sorry, Hayab is 26 of 28 on extra points. That would at least make it 15-7. So even if Whiteland did score a touchdown, they would have to go for it. They would have to get the 2 to tie. So now this is for a kick from 25 yards rather than the standard 20. It is up, and it is good. So with 18 seconds to go in the first half, your Plainfield Quakers now with an 8-point lead over Whiteland here on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on AudioSportsOnline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to kick off again with your Plainfield Quakers now leading the Whiteland Warriors by a score of 15-7 following their first touchdown pass of the season, 9 yards from Bryce Sabank to Ethan Ellis. Leo Hayab good on the extra point, making him 27 for 29 on the season, giving the Quakers the 8-point lead. Plainfield does get the ball first to start the second half. And they have the momentum. Now we just got to keep on it and not let up. Now it's a deep kick, fielded about the 1. And they said he stepped on it. So first touchback of the game, they said he stepped on the goal line, and I believe that was correct. So now with only 18 seconds left and not much of a passing offense, even though Whiteland does have 2 of its 3 timeouts, I would guess they will probably just run out the clock here, or maybe do 1 conservative rushing play and see if anything breaks through. Boy, it would be devastating psychologically if we were to lose this, especially as we very well could run into Whiteland in the playoffs. So now 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs. Taylor under center. Takes and now hands off there, and he's got the first down actually for about and maybe a couple more. That was Valentine there. Picks up about 11. The clock will stop to move the chains, but there are only 11.8 seconds to go in the half, and now the clock starts moving. They do get into possession. Let's see if they will run another play or not. By the way, that does put Valentine over 100 yards on the game. And now they run 1 more play. And that was Tyree Nolan there. He picks up about 9, and that will end the half. So your Plainfield Quakers get off to a concerning start, but they finish the half very strong, and they head into the locker room with a 15-7 lead over the Whiteland Warriors, hoping to break a 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to the second half after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on AudioSportsOnline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, business partners. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're at halftime with your Plainfield Quakers looking promising in their quest to end a 7-game losing streak to the Whiteland Warriors. Plainfield leads 15-7. It's been a very tense back and forth game in which Plainfield got off to a shaky start, but has generally played well ever since. Whiteland took the opening kickoff and consumed a whopping 9 minutes and 4 seconds on their first possession, finally scoring on a 7-yard touchdown rush with Slate Valentine. The extra point was good, making it 7-0. However, Plainfield came right back on its second possession, scoring on a 9-yard touchdown rush from quarterback Bryce Sabank with 10:56 to go in the second quarter. And a successful 2-point conversion put the Quakers in the lead by a score of 8-7. Then after Plainfield recovered a Whiteland fumble on their next possession at the Plainfield 40, the Quakers then drove inside the Whiteland 30 before turning it over on downs at the 22, 1 yard short of the first down on a direct snap to Luke Starnes that gains 2 of the necessary 3 yards. However, the Warriors were held to a punt, and then the Quakers scored with 2 minutes to go in the half on a 9-yard touchdown pass from Ethan Ellis. I'm sorry, a 9-yard touchdown pass from Bryce Sabank to Ethan Ellis, their first touchdown pass of the season. And Leo Hayob's extra point brought us to our current score of 15-7. A look at the individual statistics, first of all, for Plainfield. Bryce Sabank has completed 3 of 5 passes for 33 yards and 1 touchdown. Again, his first touchdown pass of the season. Ethan Ellis has 2 receptions for 21 yards and a touchdown. And Ryan Garber, 1 reception for 12 yards on the ground. Less than usual, Starnes has rushed 8 times for 59 yards. Wayrich, 4 for 18, and Sabank, 4 for 13 and a touchdown. Meanwhile, for Whiteland, Ollie Taylor has completed one of one passes for 14 yards, no touchdowns and no interceptions. I have Xander Height with the only reception that is 1 for 14 yards, which ended in a fumble, however. On the ground, Slate Valentine has been the dominant rusher as usual, 18 rushes for 104 yards and a touchdown. Other than that, I have Carnell Baker, 2 rushes for 12 yards, Tyree Nolan, 3 for 11, Elliot Massengale, 2 for 5, Ollie Taylor, the quarterback, 2 for 3, and Jordan Palmer, 1 for 2. So basically, Plainfield so far has shown that, we can hold our own, and that Whiteland, they've stopped us from going crazy with our rushing offense, but they haven't, stopped us. We've done well enough, and we've shown that we can pass well enough to keep them from clamping down too much on our rushers. And keep in mind, on one of our earlier possessions, Ellis, the one that ended with a turnover on downs, Sabank threw deep to Ellis, and Ellis, close to the end zone, got both hands on it, but just did not get the grip, and it would have been a touchdown had he made the catch. So the passing offense is looking better, which is important because I felt from the start that if we're going to make a deep tournament run, which is still possible, we need at least an adequate passing offense, because if we get deep enough in the playoffs, it's very likely that we will run into a team that maybe won't shut down our rushing offense, but can slow it down enough to beat us. And we just have to have something to counter that with. And I like what I'm seeing so far in this game from Sabank. And it's been getting the passing offense has been getting progressively better all year. We just got to keep it up. Now we get the ball first to start the second half. What I hope will happen is we'll come out and get a touchdown. Even a field goal would, make it a 2-possession game, and that would put Whiteland in a pretty big hole. But also, if we get a touchdown, then it's a 2-possession lead. Even without a conversion, it would be a 14-point lead. And with Whiteland, while we have not shut them down, we've kept them from going crazy. And like, for example, their only scoring drive was 9 minutes and 4 seconds. If they get down in the second half by 14 points, they don't have time probably for 2 9-minute and 4 second scoring drives. They're going to have to score faster. And we're just going to have to, we can probably win simply by taking away the big play. The best thing you can do with a predominantly rushing team is to force them to throw a lot more often than they want to. That's a big key to win. So hopefully we'll do that. And, I think it's so important that we get this monkey off our backs, the Whiteland monkey, because they've beaten us 7 straight times, 13 of the last 14. And I do not want us potentially running into them 3 or 4 weeks from tonight in the sectional on an 8-game losing streak to them. A couple of years ago, we entered the season on a 13-game losing streak to Decatur Central. And I remember thinking in that regular season matchup in week 6, man, I so much want us to get this win tonight, because I don't want us playing them in the sectional on a 14-game losing streak against them. I don't want that in our heads. And sure enough, we did beat them 34-32 in overtime. And we did run into them again right here at Red Pride Stadium in the second round of in the sectional championship game. And sure enough, we did win, giving Coach Woodard his elusive sectional championship and his last win with Plainfield and his last home game with Plainfield. We lost at Whiteland 49-14 in the regional the next week. So, I just don't want us to, go into this. Like I said, I don't want us to play Whiteland in the playoffs on an 8-game losing streak against them. I think that's so psychologically hard to overcome. And, I think especially the way we lost the game last year, we should have won. We were 6-1. They were 3-4. It looked like the stars had finally lined up for us to beat them. But they came out of the gate. That surprise onside kick to start the game, they recovered. Then they did it to us again in the third quarter. That was so demoralizing. Although I remember then, I guarantee that never again would a team have 2 successful onside kicks in a game against a Tyler Bless coach team. And I'm still holding to that. I know Coach Bless is only, I think, 33 or so. And, he's probably going to coach for a few more decades, but I still don't think it'll happen. So I think it's really important to get that monkey off our backs tonight. And, I felt really sad, really dejected the way last season ended. We started off 5-0, ranked number 4. Then we lost 4 of our last 5, including our last 3. Lost by 26 to Harrison in the playoffs after beating them by 1 in the regular season. And then, here's the thing. Sometimes you can have an emotional reaction to something, and then the emotions calm down, and then you start to look at it more logically. I felt very emotional at the end of that Harrison game, really for about the entire second half. And I don't mean emotional like bawling my eyes out or anything like that, but I mean just really, really dejected, really devastated. But then I thought about it, we would not have started off the season 5-0 if we weren't doing a heck of a lot of things right. So, then I posted a response to one of Coach Bless's Twitter posts right after the season. I posted all the great accomplishments that Plainfield made during the season, and there were a whole lot of them. But then I said, now what your motto should be for 2024, what your team slogan should be: finish strong. Finish strong. And, keep in mind, a lot of the mid-state conference did last year. When we were 5-0, we thought we were a lock to win the conference championship because, Decatur Central looked like they were down. Mooresville looked like they were down. Whiteland looked like they were down. And yet look how they ended up after the 2-2 start. Decatur Central won all of their games until they got to the state championship, the Class 5A state championship game. Then they finally lost to Fort Wayne Snyder 33-6. Nevertheless, only the fourth time that a mid-state conference team has ever gotten to a state championship game. Then Whiteland started off 3-4, came back to win their sectional. Mooresville 4-5 in the regular season. They came back to win their sectional. Greenwood lost 4 of their last 5 in the regular season. They won their first 2 tournament games, got to the sectional championship game. But we were the ones who, we did the opposite. We started strong, finished weak. Now this year, we started strong again. And if we win this game, then that will be a clue that we are going to finish strong. And by the way, keep in mind that if we do win this game tonight, it will be our first 7-win season in 14 years. Now, we've already clinched. This is the first time since the 6-season stretch from 2005 to 2010 that Plainfield has won has won 6 games in a season for 3 consecutive seasons. And this is also the first time that Plainfield has had back-to-back winning seasons since that stretch, that 6-season stretch. So more milestones are being set this season, but we still have unfinished business. And right now with 3:33 to go on the pregame clock, on this halftime clock, excuse me. First of all, I'm thankful that there are no deaths to talk about this week. Last week I had a lot of deaths to talk about. Drake Hoggeston, John Ashton, John Amos, Pete Rose. In fact, so I had so many deaths to talk about, I forgot to talk about a great milestone worth celebrating. President Jimmy Carter, a week ago Tuesday, turning 100 years old. I always vowed to make these completely political-free broadcasts, but I do think it's appropriate to make a non-political comment about a politician in an appropriate way. And President Carter, a lot of us have different opinions about his presidency, but regardless, he's had an amazing, remarkable life. And many of us who liked him politically, many of us who didn't like him politically, have all agreed that he is, a great human being, did a lot of great humanitarian work, especially for Habitat for Humanity. Had a wonderful 77-year love story with his wife, Rosalind, who died last year at 96. And by the way, I was a great admirer of Rosalind Carter for everything she did on behalf of the mentally ill, which is a cause very, very close to my heart. My paternal grandfather, Dr. Ott Benton McAtee, dedicated his career to helping the mentally ill. In fact, he served for 27 years as the superintendent at the Madison State Hospital in my hometown of Madison, Indiana. And, he and his family, my grandmother and my dad and my 2 uncles moved to Madison in 1952. And it was there that my dad and mom met 12 years later. And then I was born 6 years after that. My brother a couple of years after that. So anyway, President Carter's someone who I think, he's an American icon, and he's someone who just transcends politics, and he's people on both sides of the aisle and on no side of the aisle, have found a lot to like about him over the years. And it's just great to see he's reached that milestone. And, and the thing about President Carter that's so amazing is that on paper, he should be long dead by now. And I say that from this standpoint. His 3 siblings all died of pancreatic. Yeah, they all died of pancreatic cancer at the ages of 51, 54, and 63. And Jimmy's father died of the same disease at 58. And, of the members of his immediate family growing up, only his mother, who died of breast cancer at 85, had a normal lifespan. So the fact that Carter had all those genetics and himself survived cancer in his 90s. He had melanoma. He survived it when he was 90, and he overcame all that. And not to mention spending 4 years with the most high stress job in the world, a job that, you know, is believed to age you about, twice as fast as the normal aging process. And yet he's lived now more than 5.5 years longer than any other president has. And so, that just makes me think, there's a reason that he's here. I mean, there are wonderful people who have short lives, but I think the way I look at it, as long as you are alive, it means there's something that you're supposed to do. And, I mean, I'm 53 now, and I hope I have many more years ahead of me. And, but every day I want to do something good in the world. That's why I end all my broadcasts by saying there is a difference only you can make. Because, no matter who you are, no matter how insignificant you think you are at any given moment, there's always some act of good that you can do that no one else is in position to do. So I hope all of you will do that. And President Carter is a great example of that. And but right now, with 2:10 to go on the halftime clock, I'd like to talk about something else. We use the phrase "red pride" a lot. In fact, one time I was commentating in a game a few years ago, and one of the journalists there, he might have been one of the commentators for the opposing school, I don't remember, but he said, "Are you guys the Quakers or are you the Red Pride?" And I explained to him, Quakers is our nickname. Red Pride is a phrase that we often use in relation to the football program. And but I'll tell you something. I came to a realization lately that gave me a lot of reason that we should be very proud of these kids. When a player leaves, I remember a Plainfield fan berated me a couple of years ago for mentioning the name Carson Melvin, just for mentioning the name. He had started for us 3 years ago as a freshman at quarterback. Then then the next year transferred to Westfield, where he's now their starting quarterback as a senior. And in fact, Westfield now the number 3 ranked team in Class 6A. And the way I look at it is, I don't think there's anything wrong with mentioning these guys. And I don't know why Carson Melvin transferred. Maybe, one of his parents got a job up there. I have no idea. I'm not here to make judgments on that. But I'm just here to say this. Carson Melvin, 3 years ago, we were excited about having him for 4 years. He played very well for a freshman, as he and then sophomore Hunter Newell split the quarterback duties. But then he transferred to Westfield, and then we got 2 great years from Hunter Newell as starting quarterback. He's up at Indiana Wesleyan now, playing with former Quakers wide receiver Grant Irwin, who's a sophomore there now for the Wildcats. And then Jameer Bowie, our leading receiver last year, transferred to Avon for his senior season. So I think about what Plainfield would look like right now if we had Melvin and Bowie, both of whom are seniors, how they might be lighting it up. And yet, despite losing 2 players of that great magnitude, we're 6-1, and we spent 3 weeks at number 1 this season in the polls. And now this week we're ranked number 6 in the AP poll, number 5 in the USA Today Network poll, and number 7 in the coaches poll. So losing often a program loses 2 players of that magnitude, and they collapse. And yet, look how good we are without those 2 players. So we should be nothing but gosh frigging darn proud of these kids. I mean, they have really done so much to earn our respect and gratitude. And so hopefully it'll be met with and now okay, they go for an onside kick and we recovered. All right. So we're starting off just shy of the 50. But yeah, these kids, and the fact that losing, especially losing Bowie this year, we had to revamp our whole offense to become an almost exclusively rushing team. It's starting to become a little more passing oriented now. But I mean, we've had games where we've barely passed it all this year. So I am just extremely proud of these kids. And I just hope they'll be rewarded with the deep tournament run they deserve. But one game at a time. Oh, gosh, I forgot to talk about the selection show. Stay tuned after the game for that. But anyway, so now to start the second half. They had a great great attempt there. Sorry, I got, my mind drew a blank. But anyway, Starnes 6 yards to begin the half. But anyway, there was a Whiteland player who was just burst through the line like lightning, and but just barely missed Starnes and enabled Starnes to get through for the 6. So I have him 9 for 65 now. I'm sorry I screwed up that call. Anyway, so 2nd and 4 now for the Quakers in Whiteland territory at the 46 now. Handoff again to Starnes. He's got the first down and more past the 40. All right, a gain of close to 10. All right. Now we just got to get that touchdown. Even a field goal would give us a 2-possession lead, but first down for the Quakers inside the 40. 9 yards there. So Starnes 10 for 74 now. I don't blame Whiteland for starting off that onside kick, although, I'm sure we were ready for it this time after what they did to us last year. I'm sure Coach Bless hammered that point hard. So now Garver to the left, Starnes to the right. I'm sorry, Ellis to the right. And now handoff there to Wayrich, and he's up the middle for about 4 or 5. His 5th carry of the game. Give him credit for, he didn't get quite as good a spot as I thought. Only gets 3, nevertheless, 2nd and 7 at the 34. 10:22 to go. Just let the clock tick and just get the score here, preferably the touchdown, but even the field goal will put us up by 11. That's a 2-possession lead. So now 2 receivers to the left. I believe it's Garver and Ellis. Now Ellis in motion. Now handoff there to Wayrich, and he gets up. I think he's got the first down. Yes, past the 25. Gain of about 10. So Wayrich starting to hit his stride there, bringing us inside the 25. We move the chains, give him exactly 10. 6 for 31 for Weston. First and 10 now for the Quakers at the Whiteland 24. 9:51 to go and counting here in the 3rd quarter. Plainfield 15, Whiteland 7. The Quakers trying to end a 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. So once again, we've got Garver and I believe that's Ellis out to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Starnes and Wayrich. And now handoff there to Starnes. He's got some room on the left side, inside the 20, and he gets up to about the 14. It's going to be very close to the first down if he doesn't actually have it. Okay, the 1 yard short. So 11 for 83 for Starnes, now closing in on yet another 100-yard gain. He's already over 1,100 yards, and now over 1,200 yards on the season after his work today. So 2nd and 1 at the 15. So now we got Garver and Ellis out to the right, Starnes and Wayrich in the backfield. And now handoff there to Starnes. He's got the first down and more, hit around line of scrimmage, but he plows his way up for 3 or 4. So the Quakers move the chains again. Give him 4 for that one. So I have Starnes 12 for 87. Wayrich 6 for 31. The 2 touchdowns, however, tonight by Bryce Sabank on a rush, and then Ethan Ellis on a reception from Sabank. First passing touchdown of the season for the Quakers. So now Garver to the left, Ellis to the right, Wayrich and Starnes in there at running back. Now Wayrich gets it. He's hit for a gain of a 1 or 2. So 1 yard there by Wayrich. Second and 9 now at the 10. Plainfield got the ball first to start the half. They've consumed nearly 4 minutes since then. So 1 receiver to each side, 1 running back to each side of Sabank now. Now it inside to Starnes. He plows his way up. He's close to... let's see where they mark him. So they gave him about 2 more, so bringing up 3rd and 7 at the 8. Now we are in Hayob's field goal range, but hopefully we'll get the touchdown. So one receiver at each side. Starnes and Wayrich in the backfields. I think we're trying to draw them off sides. Now 8 seconds to go. 7, 6, takes it. Now hand off there. Starnes to the left side. He's inside the 5. He's flashed to the end zone. Touchdown! Yes! Yes! Luke Starnes, number 15 on the season, and the Quakers take command of this game. 21-7 now with the conversion pending. All right. Starnes, that also brings Starnes, by my count, just 3 yards short of 100 for the game. The first touchdown of the game by either of the 2 lead actors. $7:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. I'd imagine we would just go for the 1 here to take the 15-point lead. It is up, and it is good. So that means that even if Whiteland gets 2 more touchdowns without us getting another score, they would have to get at least 3 conversion points to tie it. That's big. That's big. I like what I'm seeing. We're showing we have more weapons. I was nervous coming into this game. It's one of those games, one of my coworkers was asking me today, are you guys going to win tonight? And I said, on paper we should, but, the way that this, the way that Whiteland has controlled us, dominated us over the years, I'm always going to be skeptical until we get the win. We just might do that tonight. 7:23 to go in the 3rd quarter, up by 15 now. Let's finish the job, boys. I finish strong is the slogan I wanted us to have for this season. Let's also apply it to this game now. Now, Whiteland's only scoring drive in this game was their first drive of it was the opening drive of the game. They got the opening kickoff, drove 9 minutes and 4 seconds before they scored on a 7-yard rush by Valentine. What we got to do now is just take away the big play, force them to sustain long drives. Even if and keep in mind, even if they get a touchdown here, they have to get at least 1 conversion point to get within 1 possession. So now the kickoff brought down to the 1, and now he takes it up to the 20, and he's brought down around the 22. 7:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Warriors now down by 15, unfamiliar territory for them against Plainfield. The Quakers, from their first meeting with the Warriors in football in 1973, from then until 2010, Plainfield went 30-4 against the Warriors. The Warriors, however, have gone 13-1 against us since then. It's been an incredible turnaround of the series. Darren Fisher, the Hall of Famer, doing a magnificent job here with the Whiteland program, getting into the state championship game 2 years ago, losing to Valparaiso 35-31. Now, handoff there. I believe that was Valentine again. So, only gets 2, under 7 minutes to go in the quarter now. We can let them have all the short gains that they want. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back. Now they give it to Valentine again, but they're right on top of him, and they stop him dead in his tracks. All right, bringing up 3rd and long. All right. So Valentine stopped for no gain there. He's been a dominant player for the Warriors for the last 3 years. Now nearly halfway into this 3rd quarter, 3rd and 8. Now handoff there. No, it fakes the handoff. Now he tries to run it himself. Taylor, and we stop him right around the line of scrimmage. All right. Number 41 for Plainfield, That is, oh God, it was okay. No gain. Hold that thought here. I'm like the number one guy for pronouncing obscure names. This is one that I'm gonna have to take a wild guess at, and I apologize if I screw it up badly. Hold on just a second. So now, the punt. It's a low punt, and it goes out of bounds. Doesn't even get to the 50. Doesn't even get to the 50. So Plainfield's taking over in an excellent field position. Less than a quarter and a half to play, and a 15-point lead over the Warriors, trying to break that 7-game losing streak to them. Let's do it, boys. Let's finish the job. Let's go in for the kill. Okay, the Plainfield Quaker, the Plainfield player was Balu Watif Jatawo. That's my best guess. I apologize. It took me a while to learn how to say Toksaka and Rabate, referred to the former Brownsburg running back who went on to play for the University of Iowa. So anyway, the Lakers start at the 41. Sabonk drops back to pass, throws deep for Garver, and it hits the back of a Whiteland player. It's one of those things. I have mixed feelings about the call, but I think probably overall it was the right call, because it's good to show that we believe in the passing offense of this team, to give them this kind of confidence to throw in this situation. So 2nd and 10 at the Whiteland 41. Plainfield trying to pile on to its 15-point lead. Now a handoff there. He's up the middle. He's got a first down and more. All right, past the 30. That was Wayrich there with his longest of the evening. So we got the first down despite the the game completion on first down, no harm. Wayrich now 8 for 44. Starnes 14 for 97 and a touchdown, under 5 minutes to go. Quakers less than 17 minutes away from getting that long-awaited win over Whiteland. So now we got Garver to the left, Ellis and Mason Monday to the right. Wayrich and Starnes in the backfield. Sabonk gives it to Wayrich again. He's past the 30, and he's up to about the 25. And we're letting the clock running. We're letting the clock run, excuse me. Give him credit for 3. So Wayrich 9 for 47. Well, if we win this one, then it will easily get my vote for win of the season. In fact, actually, let me add to that. It will get my vote for the win so far of the Tyler Bless era. 2nd and 7 now at the 26 for the Quakers. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. They lead by 15. Now handoff again to Wayrich. He's got around the 25 and 20, 15, 10, and he's brought down around the 5. All right, Weston Wayrich about 20 yards there. Now, last year, granted, we were behind at the time, but we had a chance to get back in the game in the second half. Lost a fumble at the Whiteland 1. Let's finish the job this time. 22 yards by Weston Wayrich. I now have him 10 for 69, averaging just under 7 a carry. Starnes just averaging just under 7 a carry. So 3.5 minutes to go now. First and goal at the 4 for the Quakers, leading 22-7 already. Let's finish this right here and now, boys. So Sabonk throws to, and now a pass to, and now a touchdown! Oh my God! let me catch my breath and describe that play. Oh no, he got hurt on the touchdown. That was 56, Tommy Spilker there, but he got hurt and he's still down. He got hit really hard what happened, Sabonk threw a pass to Garver, who then handed off to Spilker, and then Spilker just took his helmet off and tossed it back. Oh no, Spilker took it in. I'll have to check to see how to score that one. Okay, I hope this is not serious. Nevertheless, that obviously it takes precedence right now. He's rolling around, and I always check for movement when somebody's down, especially for a long period of time. So he's stand. Okay, he's up and he's walking off the field now, groggily but under his own power. All right. So anyway, so now your score: Plainfield 28, Whiteland 7 with the conversion pending. And just a second here. How does that last place score? So when that goes is the rush for the okay. Okay. All right. So it'll go as a touchdown pass. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Okay. I just talked to the statistician Jeff Sherman, who says it'll go as a 9-yard completion. To all right. That's an oddity, but anyway, so Tommy Spilker, a senior, 6'2", 305, playing his last regular season home game. Wow. Definitely one of the oddest plays I've seen so far. And now a kick deep down to at the extra point was good, by the way. And now Whiteland, though, a good return out nearly to the 40. So Whiteland taking over at their own 39, trailing by 22, 3:05 to go. Now all we just have to do is take away the big play, and this one's ours. And now a rush up the middle, first down for about 15 yards there. Valentine padding onto his totals. He does have the only Whiteland score of this game. It came on their first possession. So the Warriors now have it at the Plainfield 46. So 1st and 10 for the Warriors now at the Plainfield 46. However, Plainfield with a 22-point lead now, likely to end that 7-game losing streak to the Warriors tonight. Rush up the middle for about 3 yards there. So .205 to go in the third quarter now. Plainfield 29, Whiteland Plainfield 21, Plainfield 29, Whiteland 7. No, another rush by the Valentine again. He's been the go-to guy. That, by my count, is 22nd rush. Gets up about 3 or 4 there, bringing up 3rd and about 5. So 3rd and 4 at the 40. And now with the play whistle dead here, 1:13 to go in the quarter. You know, this has been an odd season. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'll hold that thought, but So two receivers now to the right, two receivers now to the right, I formation now. Now a handoff there, and he's got up the middle. He's got the first down inside the 35. We got a late hit there. That was Tyree Nolan there for the Warriors. But it's coming back over, holding against the Warriors. Under a minute now in the third quarter. Whiteland apparently headed for their third consecutive loss, which would drop them to 3-4. The record they entered their game against us. The record they had when they entered the game against us last year. Now, hand up there to Valentine, and he's up there for about 6 or 7 in what could be the last play of the quarter. And that's the end of the quarter. So your Plainfield Quakers, 12 minutes away from finally ending 7 years of frustration against the Whiteland Warriors. Your score, Plainfield 29, Whiteland 7. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Burbridge, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, by IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the fourth quarter with your Plainfield Quakers finally about to end a 7-game losing streak to the Whiteland Warriors. The Quakers on top 29-7. It was 15-7 at the half, and then the Quakers got 2 scores there in the third quarter. The first on an 8-yard rush by Luke Starnes, his first of the game, 15th of the season. And then on a bizarre play, Bryce Sabonk threw a screen pass to Ryan Garver, who ended off to Tommy Spilker, who ran it in for the touchdown, then got hit hard and was slow to get up, but he did eventually get up. And great for the senior to finally get his first career touchdown there in his last regular season home game. So now the Warriors going forward on 4th and 3 at their own 39. Pitch back there, and he stopped, and they turn it over on downs. All right. Jordan Palmer there. He needed 3. I think they gave him credit for 2. So your Quakers, I would guess we'll probably get at least one more look at the starters here. So yeah, Brandon Henry now in the game. So Ethan Ellison, Ryan Garver now lined up to the right. Sabonk in shotgun. One running back, 11:53 to go. The Quakers have it, firmly in their grip. Now rush up the middle. He gets about 3 or 4. Weston Wayrich. He ran very well in the third quarter after mostly being contained in the first half. Give him credit for 3 on that one. 11 for 72 on the game now for the senior, playing his final regular season home game. Hopefully not his final regular. Hopefully it's not his final game overall. 11:22 to go now, and counting here in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. Plainfield leading 29-7, ending the losing streak to Whiteland in a big way. And now hand off there, and he's that's Starnes, and he gets about 5. Luke Starnes. And now the big question is who will be after he gets 4 there. And that puts him over the century mark by my count. Now one of the big questions going into Plainfield in the offseason is who will be the number 2 running back next year when Starnes is a senior, but Wayrich has graduated and likely moved on to college ball. Now another handoff to Starnes, and he's got the first down and more up to about the 50. That's a gain of about 5. Plainfield now can be very, very conservative. Five yards there. So Liam mentioned they haven't changed the quarter yet on the scoreboard. So Garver and Ellis now out to the left. Wayrich and Starnes in the backfield. Sabank in shotgun, under 10 minutes to go now. Gives it to Starnes, and he's up there for about 2 or 3. Give him credit for just 1. Bringing up 2nd and 9 for the Quakers at the Whiteland 49. Second and 9 now for the Quakers at the 49, 9:18 to go, and now we got a flag. Against Plainfield, they'll move it back. Five-yard penalty back to the 46 of Plainfield. Bringing up 2nd and 14. Still they lead by 22. And now Wayrich, and now we got an Wayrich up the middle for about 4. Give him credit for 3 on that one. So 3rd and 11 now at the 49. 2 receivers to the left now. And now another Starnes, and he gets up for about 3 or 4. It's going to be far short of the first down. I'd imagine we'd punt here. No sense in putting them in a position to get an easy score and get back in it. So let's see here. Another 3 yards by Starnes, padding his total. I have him 18 for 110. And Plainfield now takes a timeout with 7:40 to go. So at that, we'll pause for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the thrilling conclusion. You're listening to Plainfield Quakers Football on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football and audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Cinderstone, Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT&D Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BTW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selveth Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, where your Plainfield Quakers are about to finally end a 7-game losing streak to the Whiteland Warriors. Plainfield leads 29-7 here with 7:40 to go in the fourth quarter. And getting ready to punt here, 4th and 8 at the Whiteland 47. Whiteland going for the block there, but the punt is, they get the punt off, takes a Whiteland bounce, and now is down at about the 23 or so. So 7:32 to go. Whiteland, without much of a passing offense, can't do much here except just, I mean, even if they score a touchdown here, the main thing is that we just take away the big play, force them to use a big chunk of the clock to do it. So, I always envisioned that when we finally beat Whiteland, I would be like going crazy. And for a while I kind of was, but now that we're running away with this, it's just like a really calm, but that's a good feeling. It shows that you're moving up in the world, and, and now let's see, rush up the middle there by Nolan. But I'll tell you, it's interesting. On Facebook, I look up at my, on this day feature almost every day, see like what I did, on this day in past years. And 10 years ago today, I was tagged in a post where, Rob Kendall, my boss at audiosportsonline.com, lauded JP Sinclair and me for our coverage of the Plainfield at Whiteland game the day before. And now Taylor running for his life in the backfield, and we got multiple flags. He's brought down for a big loss, but let's see, what the call of see what the flags are all about. But anyway, now while the officials are deliberating, that'll give me a little time to finish my story. But anyway. I mentioned how Plainfield lost that game, by the way, and they hung tough until the fourth quarter, and then they collapsed. Not unlike they did 2 years ago in the regional game. We were down 21-14 against the we were down 21-14 against Whiteland in the regional game going into the fourth quarter. Then everything fell apart, and we ended up losing 49-14. They scored 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Sad way to end Coach Woodard's career, but at least he did get that sectional championship. But anyway, in that game 10 years ago yesterday, we actually led 17-10 in the fourth quarter. And then Whiteland scored the 24 points in the fourth quarter to pull away to the win. And then I just mentioned, in commenting on Rob's post, I said, I gave a message to Quakers fans. I mentioned that they're all banged up right now, and I said, better days are ahead. And indeed, better days were ahead. And, 10 years to the day later, now we're beating Whiteland 29-7, and it's a great feeling. And, just like when we finally beat Decatur Central, got that monkey off our backs a couple of years ago, and I just went crazy, and then I went even crazier when we beat them later in the season in the playoffs. And so now back to action here. I'll try to finish that story here. 6:29 to go in the game after that 6-yard sack against Ollie Taylor. And now it's a incomplete pass. We got a flag, so let's see. So 3rd and 15 now. Let's see what the call is first. But the point is, better days were indeed ahead. In fact, we actually had better days that season. The Quakers, the next week, we went down to Martinsville and lost 37-14, but then we came back. We won our first two playoff games. We beat Danville 31-8, which actually gave us our first home win of the season after going 0-5 at home in the regular season. Then we went out to Northview and won that game 28-13 before losing to Ron Colioli 24-17 for the sectional championship. And really a great job of Plainfield turning it around that year, and ended up, with a very strong finish after the injury decimated start. So now Plainfield taking over they're taking over in Whiteland territory around the 36 or 37. 6:19 to go. 8:54 your time of day. Sometimes when you get a monkey off your back, it doesn't have to be dramatic like it was when we did it to Decatur Central a couple of years ago. I thought we had a 50-50 chance to win this game. I thought we had a 50-50 chance to win the Decatur Central game a couple of weeks ago. We lost 42-21. But, after losing that one by 21, we won last week by 21. Now we're winning this one by 22. And now Wayrich taking over as Plainfield takes over with the Whiteland 37. Wayrich, another rush. Gets up for three, bringing up 2nd and 7. I have Wayrich 12 for 75, a very solid game, especially in the second half. Under 6 minutes to go now in the game. Plainfield 29, Whiteland 7. Man, does that feel good to say after some of the beatings they've given to us over the years. Even last year, they only beat us 22-8, but it was the way they beat us by just thoroughly out executing us with those two onside kicks that they were successful at, and took 2 possessions away from us, ran 28 more plays than we do, and now a fumble, a low snap, but Sabank falls on it, so it'll be 3rd and long. 5:29 to go. So you hate to see that, but that's only a minor blotch on this game. I haven't really said much about the crowd, but we have we had a great crowd. Some of the fans starting to file out now. But I would say we had a good 2,500 fans here on the home side of the bleachers, about 200 Whiteland fans across the field in the visiting bleachers. It is a difficult drive to make there, dealing with all that 465 traffic. So now a handoff, and Wayrich, and he might have the first down. He dragged a few receivers with him, went about 9 yards or so. I think they're going to mark him down 1 yard short. Wouldn't surprise me if he went for it here. Yeah, I'll give him credit for 9. So 13 for 84 in the game by Wayrich, having a very quietly effective game so far. He doesn't have a touchdown, but he's rushed very well overall, as has Starnes. So 4th and 1 now, 4:19 to go in the game. So Garver and Ellis out to the right. And now it's Wayrich gets it. He's got the first down and more inside the 35-30 and up to about the 28. So Wayrich picks up about 9 or 10, and he's closing in on 100 yards himself. Starnes is already there. Wayrich just might get there still. Give him credit for 9 on that one. So the Quakers now under 4 minutes. Will they go for one more score to put the exclamation point in it? They certainly don't need to, but nevertheless, it's great that they're, getting this momentum, and, especially against a sectional rival as Whiteland is this year. And now hand off there to Wayrich again. It's like the 25, 20, 15. So that puts them over 100 on the game. Maybe he'll get that elusive touchdown in this game. Give him another 14 there. So Wayrich rushing very well here in the second half, after being relatively contained in the first half. So 3:16 to go and counting here in the game. One receiver now to the right. Wayrich again. This time he's inside the 10, inside is up to about the 7 or 8. It looks like they want to get him a touchdown. Of course, Wayrich got a program tying best 5 touchdowns in a game a few weeks ago. I believe it was at Greenwood. So Wayrich now, by my count, is our leading rusher on the game as he gains 6 there, 2nd and 4 now at the 9. So we got Ellis now to the right, Garver to the left, Starnes and Wayrich both in the backfield now. Sabank now gives it to Wayrich again. And this time they're ready for him. They stop him right on the line of scrimmage. 2:19 to go and counting. So Whiteland's still playing with a lot of pride. You know, they're still trying to stop giving up the score here. This is their third consecutive loss. They entered this game ranked number 12 in the USA Today network poll, unranked in the other 2 polls. They close out their regular season 1 week from tonight. And that was a 1-yard loss there by Wayrich, by the way. They closed out their regular season with what should be a win over Greenwood home game tonight. And then Sabank throws now, and it's incomplete. So that'll bring up 4th and 5. So Sabank, I believe that's his, only his second pass, his 8th pass of the game, only his second of the second half. Plainfield's had a very comfortable lead the whole time. So now they're going for a field goal attempt there by Hayob. This would be a 27-yarder. I think probably just try to get him some practice here. He's hit from as far as and now Plainfield takes timeout, their second timeout with 1:37 to go. So Plainfield's 7 years of frustration against Whiteland will come to an end. Plainfield last beat Whiteland on the road in 2017 by a score of 50-47. That was a very emotional win for the Quakers. And, that was only the second game after Ben Slayton left the program. And, we had to just completely revamp the offense. And despite that, we did pull out the win. Granted, that was a rare off year for Whiteland. They ended up 2-8 that year. I believe that's only Darren Fisher's. I believe that was Darren Fisher's only losing record in the last 12 years or so. It was a very rare off year for them. We were just lucky that we caught them on an off year. This year, last year it looked like we were catching them in an off year too. They were 3-4 when we played them, but they just stuck it to us with those 2 onside kicks. And now the field goal is good from 27 yards. So that brings it to 32-7. So it's always good to get, a field goal when you can. Just, give your kicker a little confidence. Leo Hayob having a very good senior season, especially with all the touchbacks. I'd imagine he'd have a good shot to end up in college ball next year. So it just it's one of those things, I knew we would beat Decatur Central someday, but when it finally happens, you feel a lot better. And that's how I feel right now. I knew we'd beat Whiteland someday too. It's like, God, is it going to be another 10 years, 20 years? And finally we're doing it here. So, they beat us 6 in a row after we had a 30-4 lead in the series up from 1973 to 2010. They got us every year from 2011 to 2016. That's 6 games there. We beat them in 2017. Then they beat us, the next 6 regular season matchups, and then also in the playoffs in 2022. So, it's been a lot of frustration. These Warriors have been a big thorn in our side, and of course, now I know how Perry Meridian has to feel about us because we are 7-0 against them all time since they joined the conference in 2018. They're gunning for us. They're going to beat us one of these years too. So, and now then now a touchback on the kickoff here. So, second touchdown of the game for Hayab, giving him 24 touchbacks on the season. He's consistently gotten about 60% of his kickoffs in the end zone this season. .904 your time of day. So with the lack of passing in this game, looks like the game is going to have a relatively early end here. So Whiteland, so now Valentine again. Gives him about 8 on that carry. Warriors still in a hurry-up offense trying to get a score here. And now he's got the first down there and more. So now another 6 yards on that last carry. So first and 10 at the 34 now, but under a minute to go. Plainfield leading 32-7, about to end a 7-game losing streak to Whiteland. So 30 seconds to go now in the game. Another 5 on that run. This next play could be the last. And Tyree Nolan there, I think he's got the first down that'll stop the clock. And they do move the chains there. So 9 seconds to go. The Warriors, they get in stance for one more play, 5 seconds. And then one more, and then they stop him dead in his tracks. And it looks like he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. So, and that'll be it. So your Plainfield Quakers, for the first time in 7 years, have beaten the Whiteland Warriors, ending their 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. Your score: Plainfield 27, Plainfield 32, Whiteland 7. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to next week's regular season finale at Martinsville, and a look ahead to the playoffs and the big Selection Sunday show after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield for a final time tonight, where your Plainfield Quakers have finally beaten the Whiteland Warriors, ending a 7-game losing streak to Whiteland by a score of 32-7. It's a game that started off very concerningly for the Quakers. Whiteland got the ball first, consumed a whopping 9 minutes and 4 seconds on the opening drive of the game, finally scoring on a 7-yard touchdown rush by Slate Valentine, a drive that was aided by 2 5-yard penalties against Plainfield. However, the Quakers fired back immediately on their ensuing drive, scoring with 10:56 to go in the second quarter on a 9-yard touchdown rush by quarterback Bryce Sabonk, his second rushing touchdown of the season, the first having come last week. And the Quakers went for the 2 and made it, making the score 8-7, giving them the lead that they would never lose. Then later in the after Whiteland lost a fumble and punted on their next 2 possessions, Plainfield added to their lead late in the half, finally scoring a passing touchdown. Their first of the season, 9 yards from Bryce Sabonk to Ethan Ellis. The extra point made it 15-7. Then Plainfield got the ball first to start the second half, and on that opening possession with 7:23 to go in the third quarter, Luke Starnes got his first touchdown of the game and 15th of the season from 8 yards out. The extra point made it 22-7. Then it came undoubtedly the most bizarre play of the year. With 3:12 to go in the quarter, the Quakers added to their lead when Bryce Sabonk threw a short pass to Ryan Garver, who then handed off to Tommy Spilker, the offensive lineman, 6'2", 305, who plowed the ball into the end zone. Did get hurt, but got up groggily under his own power. And the extra point made it 29-7. And then finally, with 1:33 to go in the game, Leo Hayob scored on a 27-yard field goal, bringing us to our final score of 32-7. I'll look at the individual statistics. First of all, Bryce Sabonk, I have him completing 4 of 8 passes for 42. 4 of 8 passes for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns, his first touchdowns of his career. Ethan Ellis had 2 receptions for 21 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Garver, 2 for 16. On the ground, Luke Starnes had 18 rushes for 110 yards and a touchdown. Weston Wayrich, 17 rushes for 112 yards. Bryce Sabonk, 4 for 13 and a touchdown. And Tommy Spilker, 1 for 5 and a touchdown. Meanwhile, for Whiteland, Ollie Taylor threw only 1 pass. It was a 14-yard completion to Xander Height. Height, obviously, a reception for 14 yards. Then on the ground, Slate Valentine had a very good game. 24 rushes for 132 yards and a touchdown, the only score for Whiteland in the game. But he did not get a lot of help. I have Tyree Nolan, 5 rushes for 23 yards. Carnell Baker, 3 for 14. Elliot Massengale, 2 for 5. Jordan Palmer, 2 for 2. And Ollie Taylor, 3 for -3. So basically, this was a game in which Plainfield, on their first drive when they didn't contain Whiteland. Whiteland didn't run all over us either, but Plainfield didn't contain Whiteland as much as I'd hoped. And obviously the 2 penalties contributed to the score. That was disappointing. And especially the amount of time that Whiteland ran off, was very concerning. However, it was, very encouraging the way the Quakers simply fired back. Whiteland used 9 minutes and 4 seconds. And, on that opening scoring drive, and I figured if they had a couple of drives like that and, we were playing from behind, that could really, be our doom. But, we came back and not only scored on the next possession, but then Coach Bless made the bold decision to go for the 2. And I think that was really good because I think once we got that lead and got them playing from behind, I think psychologically that played into our favor. And then when we got to the 15-7 lead, and then on the first possession of the third quarter, the 22-7 lead, then at that point, like I said, even if we didn't score again and Whiteland got 2 touchdowns, they still had to get 3 points worth of conversions to tie. So that put us in a good position. And once they were down by multiple possessions, really their margin of error became very low. And all we had to do was take away the big play, and we did that, and we cruised to an easy win from there. So I had a feeling that when we finally beat Whiteland, that it would be just a relentless down to the fire war, and we would just make one more play and we just pull it out in a thriller. I had no idea it would be a runaway like this, especially after the way we went down 7-0. I thought it was going to be really tough, but we scored the last 32 points. So, and now once again they play as they always do when we win, playing the Kenny Loggins song, "Playing with the Boys." The lesser known of his two songs from the movie Top Gun. The more famous song, of course, being "Danger Zone." A very uplifting song. "Playing with the Boys" is a very uplifting song. And this was our best win of the year. This was the best win of the Tyler Bless era. We now have 13 wins. I'm sorry, we have 7 wins. 7 wins in a season for the first time in 14 years. Next week, if we win, it'll be our first time getting 8 wins in a season for the first time in 15 years. That won't be easy because we play the Martinsville Artesians, who, while they are a Class 4A team, they're not your ordinary Class 4A team. They're not even the good but not great Martinsville teams we've grown accustomed to in recent years. The Artesians are ranked number 2 in Class 4A. Their record is a whopping 8-0, and they have a marquee quarterback, a senior by the name of A.J. Reynolds, for 781 yards and 8 touchdowns. While A.J. Reynolds, the quarterback, a very capable rusher in his own right, with 67 rushes for 332 yards and 10 touchdowns. And keep in mind that that Martinsville this season has beaten both Decatur Central, the only team to beat us, and also this Whiteland team. So we better be ready next week. It's not a guarantee. And if we lose, it's not necessarily a disaster. It doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to do all the playoffs. But it would be good to go, especially because we have an off week. We'll have a bye week 2 weeks from tonight, while the Class 1A to 4A teams start the playoffs. It'd be great if we had a win as our last game of the regular season. And I hope y'all will get out to Martinsville. We're supposed to have unseasonably warm weather. Believe it or not, the high is supposed to be 69 there. That's the highest temperature I ever remember for the last game of the regular season. So, calling out, maybe bring a sweatshirt or a light jacket and you should be fine. And it'd be great if we could fill the visiting bleachers down there with, 500 or 1,000 or so crazed Quaker fans. And if the kids know that you're, behind them, in their last game heading into the playoffs, that will mean so much to them. Just to let them know that you believe in them and that you believe that this team is extra special. It can go a long way. So we better be ready. This is going to be the best passing team that we've encountered, at least since Terre Haute South, who was our week 1 opponent, who we struggled to beat 31-27. And, I think that, beating undefeated Martinsville would be a great way to end the regular season. So hope you all get down there. Obviously, I'll be there to bring it to you no matter what. And like I always say, feel free to attend the game and listen to my commentary on your mobile device. It's always a pleasure to have you with me. And of course, I'll look forward to being there in that visitors press box there at Martinsville, which I often have all to myself when I'm down there. So anyway, all excited about the game. It'll be an exciting way to end the regular season with some great weather, and certainly we're it's nice that we've finished now with good weather last week and tonight, and hopefully next week too, after the 3 lightning delays, 2 of which delayed our games until Saturday. So anyway, the beast is when we beat Decatur Central in overtime in the regular season 2 years ago to break our 13-game losing streak to the Hawks, I exclaimed, "The beast is out," which Rocky says in the movie Rocky Balboa at the end of his fight with Mason the Line Dixon. It's a very, it's a line that represents, healing and just getting rid of something that's been troubling you, haunting you. So we did that with Decatur Central 2 years ago. Tonight we did it to Whiteland. And how far can these kids go? I regret that I started talking about state championship last year. This year, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to talk more than one game ahead of myself this year, but I will say I'm not going to put limits on the kids either. If they play like they did tonight, they can go a long, long way. And um, after tonight, they will be going to the playoffs, of course. And this Sunday, you can find out where and when Plainfield will be starting the postseason. Sunday evening at 6 p.m., the IHSAA will present its Selection Sunday show where they announce the brackets for this year's sectionals. So I will be tuning in. It airs live on the IHSAA TV site. That's ihsaatv.org. That's ihsaatv.org. It airs live and then it's archived so you can watch it anytime. They always do a great job of presenting their show with a lot of thorough analysis. And anyway, our three sectional rivals are Decatur Central, who beat us 42-21 a couple of weeks ago. And then they were 4-2 coming into tonight. And then Whiteland, who we just beat, of course, who's now 3-4. And then Anderson, who's the weakling of the sectional. They're 0-7 coming into tonight. What I'm hoping will happen is that we will draw Anderson at Anderson. And the reason why I hope it's at Anderson, not that I wouldn't welcome it here at Plainfield, of course I would, but the thing is we would beat Anderson easily here or there. And if we open on the road, there's a much better chance that our second round game would be at home, which would be for the sectional championship. And, knowing Darren Fisher as well as, I do, not personally, but as a coach, I would not at all rule out Whiteland, beating us if they place in the sectional. About them coming on with a different game plan and figuring out how to contain us, and then having a couple of more breaks that go their way and then getting ahead of us, and things could be different. At the same time, I don't rule us out beating Decatur Central if we play them again, because two or three plays went differently in that game. We could have at the very least been neck and neck with them at the end, if not actually won it. So it's a 3-team sectional, effectively. So what I'm hoping is that we'll be at at Anderson in the first round, get that easy win, hopefully with a running clock for the entire second half, which is Anderson is a very, very bad team. I mean, Harrison, who we beat 24-9 back in week 2, last week beat Anderson 52-0. So anyway, I'm hoping we'll play there in week. I'm hoping we'll play there to open the sectional, and then so we'll only have to beat one of the two other marquee teams in the sectional. We'll only have to beat Decatur Central or Whiteland, not both of them. But if we have to go through both of them, hey, sometimes you gotta to be a champion. You gotta go through a lot of good teams. And 2 years ago, when I wanted us to get McCutcheon, the weak link of that sectional, we ended up having to play Harrison and Decatur Central, and we beat them both. And so that sectional was very, very, very well earned. So anyway, I hope you'll tune in then. A lot to look forward to. But I will say this. Looking at the rest of the South bracket of Class 5A, I think whoever wins our sectional is going to have the inside track on representing the South in the state championship game. It's not a guarantee, but it's a good shot. So I think the kids need to look at it, besides one game at a time, we have to look at it as we have the potential to go a long way in the tournament, but we also have the potential to get knocked out in the first round. And no matter how great this regular season has been, and it has been great, 7-1, 3 weeks at number 1, likely to be, in the top 5 in all 3 polls next week. It's not going to mean anywhere near as much if we don't do well in the playoffs, if we don't get at least a sectional championship. So, and now appropriately playing the Tom Petty Classic, Running Down a Dream. Running Down a Dream is exactly what these kids are doing right now. Hopefully they will successfully run it down. So anyway, a lot to look forward to. but to paraphrase, or to translate Rocky Balboa from boxing to football, one play at a time. Okay, what was it? One day at a time, one play at a time, one game at a time, or something like that. I'll get it down for next week. But the point is just take it step by step, take each step seriously, and understanding that each step is an essential step up that ladder to get to where we want to be. And so wish I had a crystal ball, but then on the other hand, how much fun would that be if I already knew how the season was going to turn out? So anyway, we got one monkey off our back tonight, and hopefully, it'll be a continuing moving. Hopefully, we'll just continue moving up from here. And most of all, what I want even more, I want us to go a long way in the tournament, but what I want most of all is for these kids to do their absolute best, so that in the end, win or lose, when they walk off that field, when the season is over, they'll have no regrets, and they'll know that they did their best. And if they do that, we won't be anything other than super proud of them. So once again, your final score here tonight at Plainfield, your Plainfield Quakers 32, the Whiteland Warriors 7. Plainfield breaks a 7-game losing streak to the Warriors. Plainfield gets 7 wins in a season for the first time in 14 years. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again 1 week from tonight at 6:40 for the pregame show as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the undefeated Martinsville Artesians, the number 2 ranked team in Class 4A. And once again, don't forget to tune in this Sunday at 6 for the IHSAA football tournament selection show. Until we meet again 1 week from tonight, for audiosportsonline.com, this is Lex Zorn reminding you, there is a difference only you can make.